Negative habits and self-defeating behaviors can hold us back from achieving our goals and intentions. So to help share some tips and advice on how we can change these is life coach Nokubonga Mbanga. Welcome to Real Health for the first time. Good to have a nice fresh face on the show.
Thank you, Michael, for having me.
It's a great pleasure. So let's start with the idea of self-defeating behaviors and thoughts. What are they actually? I mean, how would you explain them?
So they come in the form of sometimes being a perfectionist, because it gets in the way of your own success in terms of you waiting for a perfect environment, a perfect situation, or a perfect scenario that helps you to do what you want to do.
Right.
Some of them, they show up as people pleasing, that, I need to be nice to you to get to where I want to be. Is it really helping me to move forward with my story? So they come in various layers, these self-defeating behaviors, and I usually use the word self-sabotage because they sabotage your own success.
Right.
Like if you think about diminishing yourself, right? I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy. That's one way of diminishing yourself. The others, they look like, don't be loud about my success.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a sign of humility, but if it gets in the way of your own success, it is self-defeating. So they do come up and show up as if they are sort of, if I use the word, your friend,
Yes.
like they are working in your favor because they are there to protect you, but they get in your own way in the sense that you don't step up to what is possible for you in terms of growing yourself and being a performer in whatever area that you're working on in your life.
And I think it's quite interesting you say that there are positives to these thoughts. But then if we start there, so they're positive initially and you can work with that. But then if you reiterate them too much or you go too deep into something and it becomes a negative, how do these sort of self-defeating thoughts begin and then evolve into a problem?
As I said, they show up as a way of protecting you. So it's a survivor mode.
Uh-huh.
Right? And it gets in the way because you're not moving in the space where you are operating on thriving mode. They take shape and form at an early age, right? That someone laughed me in class when I was trying to present something and I experienced shame. So my way of protecting myself from shame is maybe don't start anything, wait for a minute to be perfect. And then I end up procrastinating because I'm waiting for a perfect scenario. The thinking and the reasoning behind it does in your mind look like it's making sense to a point where it's the end of the year, I haven't done anything, and I had all the reasoning behind why I wouldn't want to do it. So that's how they show up. And then it becomes a muscle, just like with anything, becomes a muscle. Every time something that happens that looks like it's gonna get me to a space where I felt that pain, even if it's not related. That's where it becomes very shocking when you do the work that it's not even related. And yet because emotionally I am connecting back to that experience, and then I block myself unintentionally. And then it grows and it grows before, it becomes part of yourself and you think you're a procrastinator. But it's something that you learned at an early age, and if I to borrow the word mutate, mutates as you grow. Because the owner is clever, the owner is intelligent, thinks of ways of, blocking yourself unintentionally.
Okay. And it's interesting you say that they can stop you from achieving things. So, I mean, how common is it that people have these self-defeating behaviors that they're not incapable? They've got all the skills and they can do these things, but because they think they are not worthy or there's shame associated with it, so they're scared to try. How sort of big is this problem out there in the world?
Very common. I see it in a lot of very successful, intelligent men and women that because there's this need to control things, there's this need to make sure, because perfection is just trying to control. And because for me, one of the things that I will ask my client, what is perfectionism looking for? It's looking for excellence. If you're comparing yourself, what are you looking for? For connection. So make sure when you do the connection, you're connecting to something that is helping you. Therefore, I'm comparing myself to Michael because I see him as someone that I look up to, and therefore it's a healthy form of comparison. So it's being aware as a client to how you navigate that.
Right.
So it is common, and it is common because when I see to these successful individuals, it's because you're doing something new.
Yes.
That's another layer with these self-defeating behaviors.
Okay.
I want to do something new that's challenging. So that's why you will see a lot with people that are really wanting to step change their game. It comes in and it has the noise that says, you, Michael, you think you can do that?
Yes,
And this is, in fact, a conversation that I had with a client yesterday, and a male client. And one of the feedback he was giving to me, he was saying that when I want to do something new, with the work that we've done, I no longer hear that inner chatter that says, you, Michael, you think you do this? My response is better. My response is, why not me?
Exactly.
Because this is what I have in my favor, and here is evidence of data of how good I am
Right.
at what I do. So it's
Okay.
very common.
Yeah. But if people are recognizing in themselves, hang on a second, maybe that's me. What can they do? And this is in a nutshell now. What can they do to just start that process of shifting that perception and reframing that?
Okay, so quickly is the awareness part of it, because that's what you're already talking into, that I'm aware this is what I do, and I'm aware of the pattern of how it takes place. The second part is about, using that as a stepping stone, in the sense that you then start saying, what is it that I need to do differently? Because emotions are data. Because there's an emotional link to it. Emotions are data. What is it communicating with me? What is it that I need to transform? And therefore, what are the actions that am I going to take to change the story? Because when we take action, the fear subsides, because now there's no data that says, I can't present in an audience.
Yes.
So that's what the process that they need to do. But there's a work behind that says, I have to know myself. Not just in relation to the fact that I'm a procrastinator, but in relation to what is it that I'm good at? What are my strengths? What is the evidence of what I've authorized as Michael? And therefore, because I know what I'm good at, I'm able then to take this challenge that's getting in the way of my success and see it as a muscle against what I want to pursue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Bongi, thank you so much. I think what you've probably done here is given people a lot of recognition, or a lot of people recognition, that maybe they are feeling this or experiencing these self-defeating thoughts and behaviors, and that they can do something about it. So I definitely think we need to go deeper into that, but we won't do it today. We'll hold that for another episode. But it's great to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining us in studio.
Thank you.